Hello, people. It is Tuesday. Let me turn the music off. I need the shade, but I'm here. I'm gonna say hello anyway. Cheers. I was just listening to a little bit of Curved Air. They were kind of on my among other things, they were on my playlist yesterday, and woke up this morning wanting to hear it one more time. The opening track on Air Conditioning. It happened today. I've always wanted one of the picture discs. This came out as a picture disc in 1971 or something like that. Early times for picture discs in the commercial market outside of children's records. I've only seen a real one a few times, and it was overpriced. So, what's up today? Well, my new album is complete. Inner Image. I was able to. Well, actually, there's several brand new tracks on the new album. 3 at least. Childhood being one. But when I was endeavoring to add some vocals to something yesterday, I looked at the latest 2 things that I had started, and there was enough there to work with. And so, brand new tracks on the upcoming album out on Friday digitally, same day as the new Cure. There's so much hype and anticipation about the new Cure record that I'm picking up on it in the ether. Now, I'm not going to buy it, but I want to hear it. So that's where that's at. I do. The other thing is, as I said, I watched a very recent interview with Robert Smith about the new album. And he talked about how much of the material is several years old, and that's the reality for many of us making music, is that we have backlogs of material. We have stuff that maybe doesn't fit, and then it comes up later, and maybe you refurbish it a little bit. So that's how it really is. It's not always a brand new blank slate that a person works from trying to make a new record. Robert Smith said that he already has 2 more albums in the bag, already recorded. So let me so besides that, I did some listening and watching. I'm currently watching a documentary about the Zamrock band from Africa, Witch, and that whole scene. As I was watching it, I just smiled, because the power of music is universal, and seeing my African brothers and sisters being heavily into Black Sabbath and music that is always associated with white people, it's just like, well, that's just wrong. Music is music, and we all like to rock. I have a couple of Witch albums, but they're over here, and it'd be hard to grab them. The printer is blocking them. But I can give a review now of Cleastoir, Where the Word is Never, the latest in the series of Cleastoir releases. My understanding is that this artist, Gary Monday, it says plans to release at least one Cleastoir album a year until he passes away. This is the latest. There is a bleakness overall to his approach, and to me, it is reflective, honestly, of the times that we live in. I like beauty, and I like calmness, in life. But there's a lot of conflict, and there's a lot of negativity, and there's a lot of unrest in the world. And so I hear that and feel it in the Cleastoir. So This is good work. It's a room that I don't want to spend a lot of time in anymore. Now, on this one, I can give him props for the track As the Last Echo Resounds, because that is sonically pleasing for the most part. And then he starts to do this vocal thing, which seems a little just like, what is that? I don't know what that is, but it fits with the rest of the album in that it's not a pleasant journey. It's very well done. And for those that are interested in that sort of work, it's very good work, okay? Thank you for sending it to me, and I am happy to have a Cleistwar collection, and I need to go back and listen more deeply to some of the other releases. I brought in the latest pile of CDs that I have listened to while trying to sleep. I'll show those at the end of the video, but a couple of records from yesterday got played. This one I listened to all the way through and ended up playing a couple of tracks several times because I liked them so much. Prince, Musicology. Prince was a phenomenon. This album really, many of his albums show his diversity and the deep well of creativity that he worked from. This is a very good example. I love the way this cover folds out. I'm going to show the vinyl too, because they did him right by doing all these records in purple vinyl reissues. I saw this is the last time I saw Prince, was the Musicology tour. And this is actually, when you hold it up to the light, it's, there. It's beautiful. This is the last time I saw him, with Larry Graham on bass, and I think Cynthia from Sly and the Family Stone on trumpet, and they jammed out. This album is very, very interesting, and it's titled correctly because Prince does what he does best, which is funk and then sensual songs, but he mixes it up and adds elements that are unusual and unexpected. So Life of the Party is a party jam on side 2, but in the middle of it, he completely switches tracks to a completely different type of jam and groove that is even better than the name of the song. When they come back out of it to the main groove, it's a little disconcerting to me. It's like, this doesn't exactly work. I wish he had taken the middle part and made that a whole song. But a lot of variety and interesting things going on in the production and the writing here. I have a lot of love for Prince. A lot of love. A lot of love and respect. This got pulled and played all the way through. This is something special. This was sent to me by the artists years ago. Again, I don't know who's watching. If any of the folks from 17 Pygmies, Jackson Del Rey, if you're watching this, thank you so much for sending this to me. 17 Pygmies, Jeddah by the Sea. 17 Pygmies is an outgrowth of the band Savage Republic. And I just love their whole approach to the graphics and the music. There's a Savage Republic was the right name for this band because there's a rawness and a rough edge to almost everything they do, and yet they will do things that are very beautiful and interesting. Like parts of this tells a story about the naming of the record. There's elements of the music that seem to be somewhat ethnically bound by culture, possibly Jewish, I'm not sure. There's other things where they sound almost like Dead Can Dance. And then there's other songs on here where it's almost just a straight pop song. This is really good. It's as much, and then there's aspects of it that can even be called progressive. 17 Pygmies. This is real good. Signed by Jackson. Thank you. If you see this, I forget what year it was this was sent to me. This is an original. I started to play some of this yesterday and enjoyed a bit of it. There's a silliness to it that I can't. Well, it's not so much silly. It's the vocals that are just why. But musically, it's fun. The Seventh Wave, Things to Come, heavily synthesized. The folks from Second Coming. This is what they did after that. Ken Elliott and Kieran O'Connor. And overall, I like this album, and I like the sound. I like the way it's produced. They synthesized very well for the time. 70s, mid-70s, 74, 75, 74. That was enjoyable. So let me share that I did play this, the Von Spar. This is interesting. It's a band from Berlin. They don't quite fit into a genre because it's like modern pop, slightly electronic, and then it'll be straight pop, and then both sides end with a progressive rock track. I mean, full-blown prog rock. Both sides end with that very detailed river of melody, complex changes that go through several permutations before they go back to the beginning. The Letitia Sadier song doesn't sound like Stereolab, but it definitely, you can tell when the song starts, well, this is different than what they were doing before. Then she sings, it's like, oh, okay. That was real enjoyable. So I finally got to the Procol Harum, and I like the cover the best of this, okay? It just, to me, it kind of plods along. Here's something that I decided to pull. Vampire Tent. Key Cutter. This is Noise Jam. I believe it's Chris Corsano and Bill Nace, I think. I'm looking for names. I think I had to find that out looking online. This is killer. I listened to this all the way through. This is sonically a delight. Seriously delightful. And rhythmically compelling. They work together. You hear them improvising and moving together. This is real enjoyable. Sonic, sweet. That was enjoyable. Cheers. So, let me show you, this is the pile of stuff that I said like I've been doing at bedtime. I load the disc without looking at the cover or the CD, so I don't know what it is, and then I find out. So, Denim, Novelty Rock. This is with Lawrence, I believe, who is in the band Felt. And this is a complete... This is completely different from Felt. It's electronic. And the title fits, Novelty Rock. It's almost like, as I was listening to it, it was kind of fun, but it's like, am I supposed to take this seriously? Denim, Novelty Rock. This was enjoyable. It's still in the CD player. This is the last one I played, and it kept me awake. Compilation by Some Bizarre. if okay, I need my. If you can't please yourself, I can't read that last word. But it's a very cool compilation. I recently watched some interviews with Matt Johnson of The, who was managed for a while by Steve-O, who started this label. And I wasn't surprised to find out that Steve-O was a handful and basically a pain in the ass, but he got things done. This is very good. Everyone from Cabaret Voltaire to Coil, Psychic TV, Mark Allman. This is really, really, really good. Now this was just really, real shit. Fresh. Futuristic jungle and drum and bass. So whoever put this out, and I don't want to misspeak, but almost everything, I had to stop it because it was just too static. Now, I think that drum and bass can be cool, but whoever put this together only learned the basics on the programming of the drum and bass beats. I like Ronnie Size Represent, and I'd been listening recently. I almost grabbed the CD to kind of contrast, but I didn't. The Ronnie Size drum and bass beats are alive. This, if you see this and you made this, sorry, but this is crap. It really does not hold up. I don't recognize overall any of the names of the artists on here. But of course, as you know, when it comes to electronic music and techno, etc., a lot of people use aliases. Could be just one person on there. That was lousy. This, because I have a variety, because I do want to be familiar with my roots. So I put this on the other night, and I just couldn't, because I just am so tired of this music. It's part of my history, but I really don't enjoy it. It's the best of Louisiana music. Over 60 minutes of the best Mardi Gras party music. I guess I'm not much of a partier anymore. I guess not. But this has the people on it. Everyone from Bucelade to the Meters, Irma Thompson, Buckwheat Zydeco, James Booker, Professor Longhair, Aaron Neville. Yeah. The names, And so it's the real deal. I don't like this music to listen to. I've been to New Orleans. If I was hanging out at the parade with my people, I'd get into it, because it's very spirited, lively music, but I don't enjoy listening to it. Here's something else where it's like I tried to listen to this all the way through, but it's like it has one focus, and it's like I'm not in the bed trying to have sex with anybody. I'm trying to go to sleep. Regina Belle, Passion. As I've said, I've got all kinds of music in my collection here. Almost any genre, including genres I don't like. Country, I get rid of. I have some country. But the main genres, I have stuff. This is a promo that I got back in the 90s. Real silky smooth. Sounds like they've sampled Barry White's voice on here. Or maybe he was still alive and he's on the album. It's very well produced, but it's like it's one track mind and not the track that I'm on. She has a good voice. This one I have to get rid of because it's empty. I don't know where the CD is. I won't even show it. This was strange. I listened to it all the way through because it's like, what is going on here? Sola, Blues in the East. That is quite literally what this is. And this is associated with Bill Laswell. Axiom, I'm pretty sure, is or was his label. Yep, it's produced by Bill Laswell. and it's got an interesting cast of people on here. It starts off with this, I think it's Chinese type of ooh, type of singing, and then the next thing you hear one of the last poets doing poetry. Umar bin Hassan, but also Amin Claudine Myers is on here, James Blood Ulmer, Jason Wang, Henry Threadgill, Ned Rothenberg, Fernando Saunders, Ayib Dieng. So it's a mixed, it's interesting. It's like they really do play the blues with the Chinese or whatever kind of singing it is on top of it, as well as doing other hybrids. I was intrigued, and it kept me listening. I couldn't fall asleep. It was I didn't read the information in here. It probably explains it all. But that is part of the fun of doing this, is discovering things. And if I don't look at the cover before I see it, play it, that's good, because then I have to respond completely honestly to what I'm hearing. Oh, shoot. I'll get it in a minute. Okay, there it is. What is this? Okay, so here is something that was like, oh God, this is terrible for my taste. And I think it's because it's related to some kind of movie. Andrew Lloyd Webber's new musical Sunset Boulevard. And this is a promo single from it. The Perfect Year and the Sunset Suite. The Sunset Suite, the instrumental was okay, but Glenn Close cannot sing. And it's one of those deals where they get the actress or the actor, with the main part to do their part on the promo. This was terrible. The vocal track was just, oh my God. Umoja Di Kaku. I remember when this came out. Got this this promo of it. This is back when world music was the hot thing, into the 80s, going into the 90s. Yeah, this is 1984 even. So yeah. This sounds to me almost like cultural appropriation in some ways. It's like it's ethnic music mixed with Western, and it's okay. Di Kaku. It was the vocals that I thought were like a little disingenuous. It's like, don't sound like you should be singing this. Now this was fascinating, but I couldn't get to sleep with it. So this is another one where I took it off, but this is amazing music. It's very intense. The music of Bali. Swara Sipta Priyanti Jagog. Volume 1. Music of Bali. Yeah. Those instruments. Sometimes in the morning I have a hard time getting my Balinese gamelan. Thank you, brain. Please get going. So this is the real deal, played by the real people. I have a lot of stuff like this on vinyl as well as CD. I love exploring music and the world through music. Here's one that I bought because I played a gig with them. The band Indrima, we opened for them when they came through Omaha. I think this was on maybe their second time through Omaha. Blitzen Trapper. Wild Mountain Nation. Interesting band that mixes elements of punk, country, and something else. I enjoyed this. It was like as I was listening to it and not knowing what it was, I couldn't remember. So the next morning when I woke up and looked and said, what was it I listened to? Oh, fuck, that was Blitzen Trapper. I still have pictures of us after the show because we partied down. I really got along with those people. Had a lot of fun with them that night. Blitzen Trapper. Here is one that was partially interesting. Now, I think this band, again, this is from another, I don't want to misspeak, Padres, Night. I think this band is possibly from Korea. Padres. Let me see if I can find out right quick. It was an interesting sound. I'm not going to be able to find it out right quick. Taiwanese, okay? So that stood out to me that this was an indie rock sort of sound, but not typically American. I thought this was so-so. I mean, some of it was pretty good. Padres. And that's it. I already showed you the Paz. It's still sitting out. So that's what I'll share. Yeah, I need to shave. This last week, these last few days heading up to the election is madness. It's very bizarre to think that it's hard to believe that half of the country is hateful and racist and sexist and really wants such a vulgar person like Donald Trump and his partner Vance as to run the country. I watched that MSG debacle. It's a hate rally. And the way that they're trying to backpedal on it and the way that J.D. Vance tries to say, I'm so over people being offended. Well, what is selfish? Well, it's so selfish, so uncaring. And the fact that there's people like that, there are a lot, who cheer him on and say, yeah. How could their leadership possibly be good for everyone? It's not. I'll say it again. I am aware that we don't have good choices. I got into a minor argument with a friend of mine about Harris, where he's trying to say that he thinks that she has the power to stop the war. I know that isn't true. One person cannot stop the war. The war machine and the money that's made behind it, you think one person is going to upset that? Get out of here. I saw a quote. I'll try to say it. When you realize that the biggest industries, the most money-making industries in the world are war and illness, the health system, you see why we're in the fix that we're in. The money first. You all will die so we can profit. And that's what's been going on and continues to go on. And it's not justified. It's unfortunate folks will come over here that are part of that mindset, that negative, vulgar, hateful mindset, and say things as though it's okay. It's not okay. Why are these people unable to put the shoe on the other foot and look at it as if they were on the receiving end of this hate? They can't see it because it's very unpleasant and they wouldn't want it. It's definitely not a matter of them doing unto others as they want done to them, and yet it goes on. It's very, very perplexing. That's what I have to say today.